Sooner Scoop HD.
Porter, Jacob, right after the game, kind of talked about how that second half in particular on Wednesday was not indicative of maybe where the team is at, or just not a good performance by them, just by the team. Just, I know it's been a couple of days, but how much has that maybe been the sentiment? Not that you can just ignore it or throw it away, but how much has that been maybe the sentiment?
Yeah, it's right on. It's right on. Our second half defense was not what the first half was. I mean, they scored 24 in the first, 48 in the second. We lost, just little stuff. I mean, first play of the half, I know Woody Newton hit a three. He's got like one or two on the year. Then Harris hit one in the corner. We lost Bryce Thompson in transition. We had low pickup point, went under a ball screen and hit a three. I mean, like, just a lot of like things that we usually are not doing. And that was a combination of us and then a combination of them, just the ball was going downhill. I mean, their offense, their pace was terrific. They were going downhill. They were making shots. They saw it going in, and their confidence grew, and we did not react very well. Like I said in the press conference, we made 9 of 14 shots to start the second half. You think up 4 or whatever it was, and making 9 of the first 14 shots, you're in good position. But it was just not it was not a good defensive performance on our part, combined with their momentum. They had the crowd, they're making shots, they had a lot of that going. We couldn't get stops.
What has that kind of bounce back process been? We talked a lot about, obviously, a lot of close games. This first one that kind of got away from you guys. And not that the process is any different, but what has that bounce back process been like with that kind of sentiment that wasn't indicative of you guys?
Yeah, the process isn't any different, whether you lost by whatever it was or 1 or 2. What I liked is our guys took absolute accountability. Our coaches took accountability. Everybody did yesterday. I normally would have taken off yesterday in terms of being physical, but we guarded yesterday. We did some defense yesterday, and the guys responded great. So the process is the same. What could we have done better? Like win or lose, that's always the same, and then move on to Baylor. And we couldn't spend all day yesterday lamenting on Oklahoma State. We had to address what we did wrong, and then we had to move on because you have yesterday and today to prepare for Baylor, and that's what we did.
Porter, with help of the tape, were you able to figure out what changed with Grant, or not with Grant, but how they attacked Grant defensively in the second half?
They really didn't do anything different. They're very, very good at guarding the ball. It's why their defense is so good. They don't get in a lot of scrambles because their guards can really guard one-on-one. I don't think it was anything different. I just think it was, he got free a couple times. He got fouled in a couple three-pointers. We got him to the line. He had a 3 in transition. He just didn't get into the flow of the second half, and that's a combination of him and us together. We got to get him in a flow and some things in the second half.
And with Baylor, you spoke when they were 0-3 about how close they could have been to being 3-0, 2-1. Are they a good example of what a difference a week or 10 days can make?
No doubt. They went into West Virginia and then ever since then they got Oklahoma State and then won at Texas Tech. Those last 2 games, they were pretty decisive wins. They're as hot as anybody. Offensively, they're as good as they're really hard to guard because they have elite guards that can all shoot, they can all pass up ball screens. They have a big that's a rim roller, and they run great stuff. They run really good offense, they're just they got elite guards. I mean, when you got 3 guards that all can throw up 20 every single night. I mean, one's averaging 22. Flagler can put up 30. Cryer can. Elite guards play.
Yeah, I remember a couple weeks ago you mentioned CJ with some of his best practices of the season.
Yeah.
After he lost that starting spot, were you ever concerned that you might start losing him?
The concern was anytime, not just CJ Nolan, but anytime someone comes out of the lineup, you want him, and that's why I met with him personally. I'm just talking to him, just so like, man, I still my vision for you. It was more of communicating, you know, that we're making this move. That let's, and I think at first it was a little bit hard for him, but ever since he's come back from Christmas, he has gotten himself what you want as a coach in practice. He's had this best motor in practice. Like his motor has been the best it's been in practice, and it translates to the game. And his mind is in a great place. He's coming off the bench feeling good. I mean, he's making better decisions with the ball. He's shooting it better. Every phase of his game is better than it was pre-Christmas. And that's what you want. But not just C.J. Nolan. When you make a move and take a young man out of a starting lineup, you know, first of all, you explain the old Rick Majerus line. You know, starting's for high school. You know, it's just, but kids feel it. They want to start. I get that. I did too. But it was more of just communicating with my vision for him that, God, you still have a big role. We're just making this move, but you have a big role. And he's been coming in, getting like 20 minutes a game, playing solid.
You talked the other night about some of your empty offensive possessions
Yeah.
leading to the other end. How do you ensure that that's not the case moving forward? Is it as simple as just digging in defensively?
No, I met with Los and I met with Grant. You know, with Los, I gave him, you know, I talked to him about don't defer. You know, if you're bringing the ball up the thing, there was a couple times he brought it up, and then he was kind of deferring to Grant or someone else to get us into something. I'm like, man, you're not a freshman anymore. You know, you got the ball in your hands a lot. Grant has the ball in his hands a lot. You know, don't be afraid to lead. Take your voice. I think I wanted to give him a little more confidence and authority to lead, to communicate, because I thought our empty possessions came from being quiet. Everybody was kind of looking, the crowd's going, and like, I don't have 30 timeouts. You know, you're going to have to flow into some stuff and lead some stuff, and I thought, I really met with him about that, to be more vocal. Guys will migrate to that. A lot of teams don't have their center or their power forwards being their leaders. It's their guards. So, you know, and Los's guy playing over 30 minutes a game, I told him not to defer anymore. You know, have his voice heard. People will follow, and hopefully we get a little less empty possessions, getting us into stuff confidently.
Coach, CJ was saying the beauty of the Big 12 is that there's a lot of opportunities for a big win. What would a win over Baylor tomorrow do for this group just moving forward?
It would. Every win you log it in the bank as a quad one win, as a great win. It's a top 20 team. It's you know, it keeps you moving in the right direction. But he's right. We've talked about it. Every game is an opportunity, and this is, you know, a big game. They're all big, you know. But man, just to get another win and keep moving forward. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, one at a time. People ask me about coming up, like, what's your next three look like? I'm like, I don't know. I just know about the one in front of us. And that one, every one, it's cliche, but you take one at a time in this league because every one of those are big.
Sooner Scoop HD.